Now we would like to start the Line and Yahoo at the forefront of the service and development. We have the two engineers from Yahoo and the Line, respectively, to have the panel discussion. So they are the engineers of the large-scale services in Japan. So let's start with self-introduction. Myself, I am the MC of today's panel discussion. I'm from Gijutsu-Hyohron. My name is Fuon. I work for the department called the cross media, and I'm responsible for the ebook and event. And I'd like to ask a panelist to introduce yourself first. Two engineers from Yahoo. I am Sawada from Yahoo. Currently, I work for the Vertical Services Group Beauty Division, and I am the development manager. Thank you. I am Higuchi from Yahoo, Japan. I work for the Media Division Advertisement Department, and I'm the product manager. And I am Matsuno from Line. I work for the Line Development Center and the official account development and the B2B platform development. I'm the senior manager of those two. So I work for our service development department. My name is Osawa. Mainly Line Live or Line Ticket or the entertainment services development is the scope of my department. So these are the four panelists for today's discussion. First, 2B and 2C engineers are gathered here from the two companies. So first, I would like you to introduce your product first. Yahoo's business service. First, Yahoo Beauty. Yahoo Beauty, I am in charge of this service. Ideal hairstyle and ideal hairstylist, encountering them as the concept. So 2019 December, we launched this from the hairstyle. You can search the hairstylist and the hair salon. Yahoo ads. For this production, this is quite a large-scale systems. Left bottom, advertiser agency. There are the tools, UI/UX tool, where they submit their product. I'm in charge of this. So this is the 2B service at the delivery and media, and what's distributed on the media side, it's logged, and through the UI/UX tools, this will be displayed to the advertisers and the agencies. I'm in charge of this system. And next page, please. And UI/UX tools components. There are many ways to do this, such as a web UI, and also we saw the UI on the panel and the external API, and the client application can be used to submit. So there are some components, 3 components, and backend campaign manager on the backend. So I'm in charge of the development of those. Looking at this diagram, I feel that the service and the system itself is very large scale, so I will ask more later. And the next is the B2B account, Line account. I am in charge of the Line B2B products, Line official account business, sales promotion, such as Line self promotion, and the Line Point Club and Point Ad. Those services, and also talk head view. This is the content that is displayed at the top of the line, and we are developing the engine for this. I listed the service logos that I'm in charge of. As mentioned earlier, I am responsible for the entertainment-related development. Mainly Line Live in the beginning and Line Ticket service. We are in charge of the developing those first, and then the Line Music and Line Records. So partially, I was involved in the development of those, and recently, Line Music, as Matsuno-san mentioned, the top part of Tokuhead, the screen, the recommended music are played there, so that feature is launched, and the Line live viewing launched recently, and on the Line Day we made an announcement. This is the new service called Live Buy. It's under development. Thank you. I think that you may have heard about these services and how are they developed. So I would like to deep dive on this. But first, before we talk about the specifics, we have the members from Line and Yahoo. Well, you know about these company names, and we want to have the ice-breaking talk, the day in the life of engineers. First, Yahoo, the field engineer and managers. This is just the rough timeline of the day. Can you explain? So starting from the managers, this is the day in the life of the manager. Well, recently I work remotely, and in the morning I start the PC at home and notify that I'm starting to work. And recently I start with checking KPI. In my responsibility, advertisers, what kind of the advertisement product they are submitting, and what was the sales revenue. We check that, and also SLI check on the system side, availability, error alert. Those will be looked at front end, back end by component. Those are visualized to a certain extent. So I start with those checks and the confirmation, and in the morning I have a lot of organizational meetings as a manager. In each component, for example, we may not have a sufficient headcount or any challenges, issues. So this is our team meeting in the organization, and also we have the meeting with the other department divisions or head offices, usually in the morning. And in the afternoon, again, it says meeting. It's different from the organizational meetings in the morning. Teams development status is checked in these afternoon meetings. So for example, we run the sprint that is based on the agile development. After 2 weeks, which tickets were completed and were they on plan? After release, any responses after 2 weeks of the sprint. So engineering type of the meeting is held. So organizational meeting in the afternoon, and the project-based meeting in the afternoon. And from the evening, I have the production time to work on our own tasks. And also on my to-do list we have the e-learnings, and also I have one-on-one meetings. That's my own time to cover my own task. And the job interviews, sometimes I interview the candidate, and recently some candidate would like to take the interviews after their work. So around 6 or 7 p.m. I have the job interview as an interviewer. Thank you. So we will hear about the engineer, but the first I want to ask about the manager's day in life. So let me switch to Line. The manager at Line, so it's similar, but what's the difference? Matsuno-san, then, well, this is very rough, so that's why it says meeting. Well, even if I say meeting, it includes the recruitment meeting, interviews, and the casual meetings. In my case, I am the senior manager who oversees multiple managers and the entire business. Therefore, there are a meeting by business and also overall meeting across the organization. So there are different types of the meeting. So altogether, I would say that I have meetings all day. If the manager is in charge of the particular product, then he or she has the meeting time. But depending on the manager, he or she is doing the coding or programming or the monitoring the system metrics. So it really depends on the type of manager. So looking at both, you spend a lot of time on meetings or communications, so including the engineers' details. So let's move on to the next theme. So 4 of you are here, and you are in charge of the service development. What do you do? So we heard about the day in the life, Yahoo and Line, from all of you's point of view in your roles. For example, business plan and scheduling. And earlier you mentioned about the recruiting. What kind of the stance do you have, and how are you addressing this? Maybe starting from Higuchi-san. Service business, you oversees that business, and your specific jobs as a service development manager. You talked about the meetings already. Yes, at the beginning of the year, we set the goal. So those needs to be quantitatively measured, and we need to schedule what kind of actions and the initiative we should take, because we are more or less beginning of the year, and we have to decide that action. That's one. And another one is a qualitative aspect. For example, let's launch or release. And first, we release the features. There are the feature set that we have to launch. In that case, I have to prioritize them and how to schedule them. In order to attain the KPIs, there are certain features that we have to provide. And also, there are features requested by the users. So I have to fill those puzzles and set the schedule and also break them down into the sprint. I spend a lot of time on that. Thank you. Okay. Well, it's very similar. This is at the beginning of the term or the year that we have the service goal. So how to climb up that mountain, which is a goal. So we are making decisions how to do that. And I also am involved in the recruiting process as well. I have to really see whether it fits my service or not to make decisions. So you're looking at the overall picture. Yes. So next, Matsuno-san. In our case, around the fall time frame, we start to create the next year's plan. And as we develop 1-year plan, we decide the focus areas, and then goals are set. That's the general flow. For those goals, what kind of product to be developed? Well, in our case, these are B2B product. So sales side people and the business side and the planner, developers, all of them are involved to decide which feature should be developed. So rather than quarterly, we decide the rough roadmap for entire year. So of course, during that 1 year, we have the discussions. Maybe we should do this and that. So those details are updated and changed to develop the products. And of course, I'm involved in the recruiting as well. What about you? In case of LINE, development organization and development organizations are separate. The business side makes the business plan, and the development organization will follow that. For this business plan, development needs to take this much time, and we need this much man-hour and effort, and please make the business plan based on this. So that's the proposal from the development. Line of business and the development organizations are collaborating together to adjust this business plan to commit to the development. But in my department case, entertainment industry is fluctuating so much this year. So we have to quickly make a decision for development. Along with that, every week, we have to develop this and that, so details are decided for development, and we think about that together with the business side and the development members to make a plan and set the goals. That's mainly what we are doing. Thank you. So in line, the business and the development talk and collaborate. Going back to Yahoo, is it similar? The business plan is created by the company, and then the development team is assigned, or the plan is developed between the business side and the development side. My advertisement production, well, revenue has the very high weight in the goal, and that is decided in the business plan. Based on business plan, it's cascaded down, and the service managers cascade down more specific numbers to the field. And that's one type of the goals, but in the field, there is the product out type of activities. For example, there are some direct requests to increase the features that's coming from the users. And of course, in addition to the business plan by the company, there are some user requests. So we have to combine them and prioritize them. So we think about that in the field for the advertisement production. What about the beauty? Yes, basically we are following the business plan, but the Yahoo Beauty, there is something special. This is the 10% rule. Within that time, engineer or designers can do anything they like, and they can come up with something creative. Understand? Well, since you are a big organization and you have the big product and services, so I thought that it's appropriately designed, not just a field. And earlier, the Osawa-san said that the 2020 was a bit different, and in the year 2020, in terms of the service development, any changes such as external factors, any changes to what was expected? So since this is a discussion, so you can ask each other, but let me ask line people, two of you to start first, including the business plan 2020, anything that has changed and that hasn't changed. Yes, well, there are significant changes, impact of the COVID-19, yes.
Right. Although the situation is changing now, when people are asked to stay home, contents to consume at home, like video streaming, showed an increase in demand. So under that, we saw a rapid increase of traffic in Line Live. And As the traffic grows, how can we have a stable operation against that increasing traffic? Of course, we are doing the job in the daily activity. However, we need to streamline more quickly than usual. So we did that. When you say streamlining, does this mean you hire more people and change teams? Well, it's hard to increase headcount quickly, so we tried what we can do in engineering, such as taking benchmark, and based on that, we looked for bottlenecks to fix and asked team members to be more aware of such things so that they can take some actions. I see, thank you. And there are some service areas where demand increases and decreases. We never know what will happen next, so we proposed and developed back-end management tools for line employees, tools that will make our operation easier, make our life easier. Cooperating with development side, we make proposals, develop, release, and implement it. As a result, operational load was lowered. We tried such things. Thank you very much. Going back to Yahoo people. Could you tell me what changed and not changed in 2020? What about the side of media? Well, in product development, there is not big change at all. So, pandemic occurred. But talking about Yahoo Beauty, it is located in Tokyo and Nagoya, which I am working in, and we were working remotely before COVID-19, so remote working is not a thing changed. But now people do not come to the office. So, for example, terminal or equipment check. Many development engineers use Macintosh, and checking the window browser takes more time, and that's one thing that has dramatically changed. So you cannot do it at home, right? What has been available in the office is not available at home. That is true. Isn't it hard to conduct real machine testing? We have a lot of terminals and equipments in the office, and in the case of trouble, it was easier to investigating together using those real equipments when we are in the office. That is true. It is very difficult. That's true. It's impossible to purchase machines for all the employees and give them, right? So at Yahoo, iPhone terminals are distributed to employees, but Android terminals are not. Therefore, verification on Android is getting difficult. Recently, new iPhone was released, and this can be also an impact. So do you feel anything changed or not changed? Whatever. Well, in the area of development, actually, I don't think there is a big change. Yahoo already had a specific system, a remote working system before COVID-19, and we are ready for that. So engineers were already using that system to work at home. So in the area of development, I don't think there is a big impact just because developers have to stay and work at home due to COVID-19. But I think impact on business was very large. There is an increasing demand in media, and maybe because I am in charge of advertisement, I focus on supply side, and airplanes and travels, such industries reduced their orders. So media is good, however, demand side showed decrease. So there is a big change in 2020 on business, in my impression. We never know what will happen, and we do not know any answers yet. That's right. Then in the end, let me ask this question to all of you. We just talked about work from home. How did you feel about working remotely as engineers? Did you smoothly accept it, or you talked about machine test? But besides that, did you have any other troubles in your daily work? In the case of server-side development, there is not much impact. For troubleshooting, we already had the environment before COVID, such as introducing VPN for development, so it was not a big issue. But to the people who joined our team in the middle, we feel a sense of distance in communication. Before COVID, we can have drinking party or a welcome party for newcomers, but we cannot do such parties now. For new graduates, it's already been 6 months since they joined, and we haven't not physically seen each other yet. We need to be very careful about that, so we try to have one-on-one meeting and other meetings more frequently. We have less conversation opportunities with newcomers, so we need to set up an environment. I really feel sorry for such new graduates. Our service team has 2 new graduates, but they still use polite expressions with respect language, although they are colleagues in the same age. I should let them do similar jobs. Such relationships is very important, right? Yeah. It's a pity that they are still communicating very politely. Yeah, I agree. When you described about your day, you mentioned you have many more meetings. Maybe you might have more meetings for the sake of communication under the circumstances. Right. Some team is trying to set up at least 1 meeting for each engineer per day. When you spend a few days without any conversation with other people, your communication skill might be degraded. That's right. Thank you. The year 2020 is a very big year, and we never know what will happen next, including that. Next, I would like to pick about something high level. In each of your organization, what are your recent update? I use the term update, but what I mean here is whether you deployed something new in your technology, or media often say growing out of legacy. So do you have any areas that you decided to be away from? Let me ask you from a technical point of view. Well, which side would you like to start? Maybe Yahoo side? Well, going out of legacy, Yahoo already has a project called Annapurna. Traditionally, development was dependent on specific libraries like PHP and so on, although I cannot say in the details. Such development style tends to have a lot of restrictions. We refreshed such legacy so that system development can be speedy for business. Another is a CI/CD environment where we can test and develop, allowing automatic and continuous development and deployment. We set up a company-wide objective, and we are doing them in parallel in 2020. When you say restrictions, are they about specific language you need to use, or are they more about development rules as a company? Could you be more specific? How do you feel? Restrictions? Well, Yahoo Beauty is a new service started in 2020, so we used new technology for the development from the beginning, and we did not feel a lot of restrictions. Oh, I see. As for new services, you might be right, but as for old services, we do not use open source services, and instead we use libraries that involve licensing issues. There was a movement to make it lighter and create more flexible environment, and also a movement to improve quality. For recent services, the case might not apply, but advertisement products are built by adding various elements, gradually spending many years, and we've been trying to refresh them for a long time. So how do you feel about the achievement? Do you feel you have achieved much? Well, yes. The project name Annapurna, this is from the name of a mountain. Just like climbing up a high mountain as a company, we've been doing this from a long-term perspective, spending 3 to 5 years. And I think we have reached to a very high level, although there are variations depending on services. But we feel when we went up to the 7th station or so. Thank you. May I ask you the same question to Line people? Yes, in Line, or in the case of our department, legacy management is one of the issues. Our department deals with B2B platform. Although it's a platform, it is like a collection of small products. So not every product is actively developed, meaning there can be more products that generate steady revenue, but not much development effort is given. To such products, we upgrade libraries periodically for maintenance. Even the cost incurred can be kind of expensive, but so that such products will not be obsolete. We've been focusing such things, especially in the past 1 or 2 years. Our department upgrades system frequently, like every year. Because in the case of Line Live, for example, looking back 5 years ago, we were desperately writing codes for release. The system used for 5 years usually has something old. For example, version of Spring is very old and support period got expired. Then there is a risk in a stable operation. To ensure or secure stable operation, we try to refresh libraries and the framework we use all the time. Another is server-side architecture or infrastructure. In Line, usually new nice features that can be useful for production environment is released every year, so we try to adopt them aggressively so that we can make a scalable system with less cost. Such effort is done continuously. You mentioned when new nice feature is released. That means rather than keep using existing features, you can easily agree to switch and try using new features. Is this common? Yes. In the end, this makes our engineering life easy in development operation. So everyone usually wants to try. I think there are many engineers who prefer changes in Line. I had an impression that you seem to be opposite, but maybe you want to say something, Mr. Higuchi? Yeah, new middleware or scheme deployment deployment are also tried at Yahoo. Of course, engineers investigate and use them. New mechanism makes them energetic. What is it? What makes your life easier? What kind of changes? Many engineers enjoy such things. I feel many engineers are enjoying middleware or new mechanism deployment rather than business type of applications, in my impression. They can write coding, tune it. Those give them joy, right? Thank you. So time flies quickly, and this is our last topic. I'm thinking that I want to ask the same question asked to you today, next year as well. So could you tell me the best part of service development you feel now? I hope you could give them a message so that viewers will have interest in service development. So shall we start from Mr. Higuchi? Thank you. Well, yes, in a word, feedback from the client is the biggest part for me. after releasing features, thinking about the way clients can take advantage of, and when I receive feedback from clients saying that the feature made their life easier, that's the best part. Although my department is doing B2B business, we receive a lot of voice from our clients. Of course, we receive criticism, but like, what is this feature about? Do this, do that. The feature from other companies are easier to use, like that. But positive feedback saying feature is improved makes me very happy. And another is about requirements. I talked about service managers and the business development. We need to satisfy such requirements. When we were able to overcome those requirements with the least resources, I feel a sense of achievement. Thank you. Mr. Sawada? Yeah, I feel happy when I can release services that give convenience to the part people have been feeling inconveniences. When I hear feedback from users like this function is a big improvement, I feel a sense of satisfaction in my job. So response from users, yes. Thank you. Then from line people, first Mr. Matsuno. In my business, like line official account, this is not only about official account, but based on the huge number of active users, our mission is to provide features to various users and end users. Companies want to send many types of messages and place much advertisement. But too much message can be a nuisance for users, so the balance is required here. In developing convenient services for the benefit of all the people, finding the right balance is the most interesting part for me. And as for line official account, in local supermarkets and retail stores, you often see posters displaying LINE's official account. So finding such places and receiving feedback, as well as feeling the increasing usage of the account, make me excited. It usually takes a long period of time until a new service is used after it is released. We develop a feature, release it, and 6 months later, we feel the usage of that feature is dramatically increasing. That time lag is also interesting. Thank you. Lastly, from Mr. Osawa. Yes, I often check response from users in the internet. And when I find users are enjoying the features we newly released, and also, for example, in an event to make your wish come true, and when the person's dream come true, actually, I can see wonderful faces of such people, and such things make me happy as well. And when artists finish live streaming, they look wonderful, filled with sense of achievement and finding response from the viewers with excitement that it was fun in the internet. Such things give me a sense of achievement. Thank you. I asked the best part of service development to all of you. Common point I found is about the response from the users and a sense of achievement you got after doing much effort for the development. Words do not express all the effort and difficulties you experience in your job. I suppose I would like to ask this in a different occasion. Behind the scenes of service development, I asked a lot of questions to people from LINE and Yahoo. Thank you again to all the 4 members. Thank you.